What are the top 5 most important things to a home buyer when they're buying with you guys?
Top 5?
What are the top 5 most important things to a home buyer?
Hey, this is Blake Sloan. I've been selling real estate over 14 years. Our team of highly trained professionals, along with our unmatched marketing, has sold thousands of homes here in the Myrtle Beach area, and this is how we do it.
So it depends. You break it down between buyers and sellers. I did too, right? If you look at them together, it's communication responsiveness. Responsiveness is most important. You lose so many deals in that. But ultimately, if you look at the top 6 for home buyers out there, right? Number 1, they have local market knowledge. Local market knowledge. Now, let me ask you this. How much in your presentation are you talking about how much you study the market? And so the most important thing to the consumer and a buyer's agent is local market knowledge. That's the biggest advantage they see. Now here's the problem with that. The number 1 most important thing is not being talked about in the presentation. You think that's misguided? 1,000%, which is why it's important to make sure I'm having the right language that's connecting with my client at the highest level. And I think it wrote down to local market knowledge. Home buyers want to work with a real estate agent who has a deep understanding of the local real estate market, including housing trends, local neighborhoods, and the overall economy. When's the last time in your presentation you talked about that? But here's the deal. I want to talk about, but here's the thing. What's worse than not knowing it? Just not talking about it. So if I know it's the number 1 most important thing to my consumer, and I don't talk about it, am I setting myself up for failure? Absolutely. And so it's important for me to understand, like, look, this is what they want, so guess what I better do? Put it into my presentation. Thankfully, we have that in there. There's a block about it, but you guys want to do what? Really expand on that because it's the number 1 most important thing to them. And you're going to talk enough. I know that the number 1 limiter when somebody signs with me is ultimately what? Me. And their number 1 concern is local market knowledge. I'm going to talk about what? Me knowing the local market knowledge. And how much I study it and how hard I work to know it. And all these things that are going to break down for them, which is super important. Number 2, communication. The biggest one though. And here's the biggest one right here. What is it? Responsiveness. Why?
Because people are so used to having shit like this on their...
Most agents suck at responding. A lot of agents here suck at responding. How many people told me they went somewhere else because the agent didn't respond to them? Have you heard of anybody went somewhere else because they didn't get responded to? Were they calling here saying the agent hasn't responded to them? I've heard people calling complaining through the wall that their agent hasn't called them back. That's the reason I'm talking about that, right? For years. The other agent isn't calling back. They're reaching out, calling the main line because you're not getting back to them and responding to them. Some of y'all wait too long to respond to your clients, and guess what they think? I don't like them because they're not responding to me. Now, you got to work 24 hours a day? No, but I'm going to talk about to them in the presentation that what? I have very clear communication. I'm very responsive to you. Unlike anyone else. Why? Because this is their biggest fear, that they're going to be locked in with an agent who doesn't respond to them and doesn't get back to them, which is very important, right? Communication responsive. Good communication is key. We work with a real estate agent. Home buyers want to work with a realtor who's responsive, professional, and easy to get in touch with. And so I'm going to talk to them about what? Responsible, professional, and easy to get in touch with. Doesn't mean they can get me 24 hours a day, but it's going to be I'm easy to get in touch with. So if I'm busy, I'm going to do what? Here's what you don't ever do is let your client sit.
Send a little message if you're in the appointment and I can give you one right after.
Yep. Anybody got an iPhone and Samsung? You can hit a button and one quick text them. Usually go back to them and say, look, I'm in a meeting right now. I'll get back to you, this afternoon or whatever it is. But I'm understanding. So if I understand this communication response and this is important, what am I going to do?
Layer that in.
Layer it in. Make sure I hammer this because that's what's most important. I want to talk to the psychology of what they want internally. Now, is everyone going to be the same? No, but the masses are, so 80% will probably be in this bracket here. The rest I'm going to figure out in my discovery. Okay, 3rd one. What do you think it is? You have a block on this too. Negotiation skills. This is the biggest point of leverage for them, for most people, in terms of getting money. It's how hard you negotiate. So I'm going to talk about what?
Third-party storage and
how good I am at negotiating, and third-party stories about how I got money people off. And if I do this right and layer these in right, what are they going to think?
Holy shit.
Man, this person's exactly what I dreamed about. Exactly what I wanted.
Obvious best choice.
The obvious best choice. I like that. That's a great way to put it. I'm making sure I'm the obvious best choice based on this process here. Home buyers want a real estate agent whose strong negotiation skills can effectively represent their interests during the home buying process. And so I'm going to talk about what? How I study psychology and the market knowledge. And all these pieces here are going to help get them leverage, and how the average agent only sells about 3.4 homes a year. And here, we're much more than that, and we're going to negotiate hard on your behalf, because I don't care if we lose a deal. I want to make sure I get you the best deal at the best possible price, right? I'm not going to be a world saver, but I'm going to just mention that, hey, look, I'm in this game to win. You want them to feel like what? You have their back. I want to tell them that the entire time. Number 4, what do you think it is? This is a big one too. This is a sleeper. This is one reason I want to teach about this. Availability. Availability. Now, how many people have we lost deal-wise because they went somewhere else because the agent wasn't available? A lot. We probably lose 50 to 100 a year here because you weren't available to your client, or they didn't feel like you were available. Now, I'm not going to be 24/7, but at the same time, be available. If I know somebody's coming from in town and they want to meet me, what do I do? I meet them the first day they're in town, regardless of what they're doing. I don't need them to pick 16 houses out before I meet them. I meet them first, and then we pick out houses together. I'm not entitled to anything because they're going to be able to go with anybody else anytime. And I want to talk about them. Guess what? My availability. Hey, look, my job is to make sure I'm here for you, and I'm going to be available to make sure I get you in these houses we need as quick as possible so we don't miss out on anything. And I'm going to go back to what their previous experience. If they had another agent, ask them if that agent was available. So look, here's good news for you. I'm a full-time agent. All right, I'm full-time available for my clients, and I'll make sure I'm going to get there whenever we need to get there so I can get you guys in the house at the best possible price. Number 5. Reputation and references, which is really trust, right? Let's look at trust. Home buyers want to work with a real estate agent who has a good reputation and is well respected by others in the real estate industry. They may ask for references from other home buyers who they work with, or get an idea from realtors' past performance. They want to know, can they trust you? I would think trust is probably a little bit higher, but that's just one of the things that it's important to do. All of these things together equal what? They trust you as the best option for them to buy a house. Okay? Number 5, this is one we miss on a lot, is network. Home buyers work with an agent who has agents' large network of contacts in the real estate industry, including other real estate agents, mortgage lenders, home inspectors, anybody in that process. Thankfully, we have a whole block about this, right? Because we reverse engineered a lot of times what it was. But make sure you're talking about my network. Locally, and also not locally. We have a top team 1% agents across North America. That's a part of Mr. Sloan's mastermind group that we can get you hooked up with to get you the absolute best realtor in your hometown to get your property sold. Not sure if you saw we're on Shark Tank with Barbara Corcoran, right? We have network people all across the country who are very... Now, if you're on the seller side, we're going to talk about that because guess what? We have a lot of Barbara Corcoran's connections in New York City and Manhattan, which are very valuable. By the way, let me show you Blake on her website. Right? That's the listing side, which is very important. Okay? Questions about that? Super important piece there. Now I want you guys to come back and circle the top 2 for you haven't been putting your presentation, and make sure you go through that. 1, commission. That's okay though, because commission is only an issue in the absence of value. So if I build enough value, that's worth 10%, I should have no problem charging 7%. Or worst case, 6%. Right? Commissions just understand, they want to understand what's the cost. But if I can explain to them the difference between cost and net, that's going to be a big difference to them, right? Home sellers want to work with a real estate agent who charges a fair commission rate that's competitive with other agents and that won't eat too much of their profits. So when I use the word, hey, it's fair, you're getting a whole team of 35 plus people for the same cost. You're getting Mary Jane over here by herself at XYZ. Don't you think that's a pretty good deal? Yes, right? And so that's the key part there, what that is. Number 2, marketing skills. So I want to talk about that and who we are, that we're a marketer in real estate business. Home sellers want to make sure that a real estate agent has good marketing plan in place to sell their home quickly and for the best possible price. They may look for a realtor who has experienced marketing homes similar to theirs with a proven track record of success. This is so true. This is why these dumbass people sometimes will say, well, how many of you sold my neighborhood? And they think just because they sold one neighborhood in Pawleys Island, that's the only person that can sell the house for them. That just shows they're picking the wrong way. But if I understand that, I can explain to them, hey, look, you want a big fish in a small pond, or you want a big-ass fish in a big ocean? Because that's what we are, right? And I explain that to them. And so that's important for us to understand. That's easily done. But I understand that's what they want. 3, what do you think it is?
Communication.
Communication responsiveness. Same exact thing there. I'm going to talk to them about my availability, about my communications plan, my communication systematic, my communication, make sure that you're in the know the entire time. 4, local market knowledge. Same exact thing. I'm obsessed with the market. I know the data. I know the micro market data, the macro market data. I know all these things that are very important so I can help you get the most amount of money for your home. I know when I can push the limits to price it higher. Home sellers want a real estate agent who has a deep understanding of the local real estate market, including recent sales data, local economy, and they want a realtor who's experienced work in their specific neighborhood, which we just talked about that. 5, reputation references. Which is why reviews matter so much. Number 6, network. Same exact thing. This is really big for them. Hey, look, here's who we're networked with. The top realtors across the country get referrals from all over, all the time. Mr. Sloan has a group, mastermind group that he helped create. That's top 1% of agents in North America in pretty much every major city. And also, along with Barbara Corcoran on Shark Tank in Manhattan, we have tons of buyers from New York City and New York that come down and obviously come through us. Right? And so I want to share this so we can do what?
Put it in our presentation.
Put this in our presentation at a micro level. Now, most of these are already built into our presentation, but some of y'all are not spending enough time on there anchoring in. Now, how do I anchor this in?
You could, number one, you do when number one, local market knowledge, you can put that in advise and disclose, and then it's really not advised.
All right, let me rephrase this in a way. How do I make this so that they comprehend what I'm saying? Stories. The only way they're going to understand it is stories. If I just talk technical shit, they looked at it as this thing called techno-babble. Techno-babble makes their brain fry, and they just ignore you and don't really pay attention to you. But a story, their mind has no choice but to follow along, and it's going to follow along the entire process, and ultimately they're going to get to that conclusion you help them get to, which is anchored in through a story. Been reading a lot. I read 2 different books, one of them twice in the past 2 weeks. And their overall theme is what? Stories, 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 stories. Everything's taught through a story, through a parable. And so I'm trying to get much better at that, help you guys get much better at that.